Christmas Day. There was huge interest in it, so there's that. But also it taps into this wider issue of trust. All of us in the media at the moment face this issue of how do we deal with AI and the ability for anyone, which is being promoted by the mobile phone companies, to change your photos. You can go out now, someone can send us a photo from the street, do some adjusting, and send it to us, and it might not be quite actually what happened. So those agencies, just like other organisations like us, have policies now that we don't use it. But obviously there was a lot of sympathy from all of us towards Catherine over it.
I think it's worth, sorry to interrupt, but pointing out that some people are asking, well, how does this differ from all the kind of heavily edited photographs we see celebrities putting on their Instagram accounts? And it's a valid question. But as you were rightly saying, Richard, and I don't think people probably understand this, is that, yes, the picture was put up on their social media by Kensington Palace to start off with, but then 5 minutes later it was issued by the Palace to these news agencies to distribute in the normal way as a news image. And as you rightly say, they are subject to very strict rules because people are so worried about the use of picture manipulation and AI, to the extent, and I didn't realise this until this week, they're not even allowed to put out a picture of someone that's had just the red eye from the flash rubbed out of it.
Oh, really?
They can't even do that. It has to be a really authentic news moment. I mean, people do maybe adjust the tone of a picture, maybe lighten a few shadows, but that is it. They can't put out an image that, say, a hand appears to have been moved or something like that. They're just not allowed to do that. So they had no choice.
Shows how
really.
good Kate must be as a photographer, because she, until now, because of her illness, has taken all those photos. Has taken a lot of her own photos. And obviously, if you can't edit them, then she's done a really good job. And I think the other problem is that William was taking the picture and maybe didn't do a very good job. And it had to be tweaked,
Meanwhile, the Sussexes found themselves downgraded. Richard's Eden and Kay explain why here.
Yes, this is all a bit unfortunate. It's they're quite slow to do these things, but it's the upgrading of the official royal website. And obviously Prince Harry, as King Charles's younger son, would have a very prominent position, but he dropped down after quitting royal duties. And now it's the next stage of their humiliation. They've been pushed pretty much down to the bottom, just given a joint entry of Duke and Duchess of Sussex. And it depends how you look at it, actually, because on my mobile phone, at least they were still above Prince Andrew. So he was there just below them. But if you look on or certainly on my PC, he was next to Prince Andrew. So they're there right at the bottom, but they're just a sort of embarrassment now, kind of hanging on. But obviously it highlights the very strange position they're in, where, it's the King's younger son is now no longer part of the firm. So is it the royal family, or is it the firm? It's a tricky one.
I just would like real clarification for anyone who doesn't understand. Is this simply about the line of succession, or is it something else, Richard Kay?
Oh, no, it's not to do with the line of succession. I mean, Harry remains very much quite high up in the line of succession. You'll forgive me, I can't remember what number he is.
I think people call him 5 on Twitter.
Number 5. He comes after Prince Louis.
Right.
So they can't take that away from him, but Richard's absolutely right. I mean, he has been downgraded. As we know, the palace never do things in haste, and people have been clamouring for this change for months, if not years.
So what's taken so long?
They don't do things in haste. They take their time. They do it when they think they can slip it out and it won't get noticed. The only trouble is, right now, anything the palace does gets noticed. And these things get interpreted in certain ways. But basically, Richard's right. Harry, no longer a working royal. His wife, not working at all as a working royal. They've slipped right down the list of those prominent royal family members who actually go out and do good deeds on our behalf.
Now, I'm sure that somewhere in the back of their minds in Montecito they were expecting this, but it must sting.
I just think, if you think who's above them, you've got, cousins of Queen Elizabeth, the Duke of Gloucester, the Duke of Kent, and they're above the son of the king. So it's a strange situation. But that's what happens when you quit royal duties. Yes, he's still in the line of succession, he's still a Councillor of State, but he's no longer taking part. So the idea is someone who looks at the royal family website would be, who are they? What do they do? They want to find out more information. They don't want to find out about celebrities in California.
In March, social media was buzzing with conspiracy theories over the whereabouts of Catherine. She became the butt of jokes from celebrities, and even President Biden's team was asked about her. All this was stopped by the shocking news that Catherine was being treated for cancer, revealed in an incredibly moving video message. Here Rebecca reveals how the message was delivered, and Richard Eden gives his reaction.
Friday was again, one of those really remarkable and unexpected days in my career covering the royals. I had actually heard a week or so before.
And she would have been very anxious about the amount of time that Harry would have spent with Charles, because she wouldn't want Charles to get upset or stressed about issues if indeed that was on Harry's mind. Let's take it at face value. Let's assume Harry was there doing his filial duty. He would have, after the King phoned him, which we know he did over the weekend at the time of his illness diagnosis, one can picture Harry saying, "Pa, I'll be there, I'll come at once." And Harry saying, "Dear boy, darling boy, there's no need for that, but if you want to come, of course, you'll be very welcome." But just how welcome and for how long, it is throwing up endless speculation. I mean, why didn't Harry spend the night at Clarence's house, his old bedroom upstairs? Those bedrooms no longer exist.
Well, it's a dressing room now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And why didn't Charles say, "Come up to Sandringham and let's have a few days in Norfolk"? We don't think that happened either. So there are all these imponderables, but yes, it was a very interesting insight.
Yes, it's interesting, isn't it, Richard Eden? A half-hour meeting and a reported hotel stay. The family's got more rooms in their houses than anyone in Britain. It doesn't really feel like the open arms welcome that perhaps Harry might have wanted.
No, but it's tricky, isn't it? I mean, we all understand that Harry, when he was told that his father had this diagnosis, will have wanted to be with him. But there was something about the way that the press statement was made very quickly, within half an hour. It sort of felt like he also wanted it to be known that he had to go there. It was, for public consumption. And that sort of made people uncomfortable, I think. And then he comes, and who, wants to meet Harry now? That's the thing. Remember, he's lost touch with a lot of his old friends. In his memoirs, he admitted that people contacted him after the appalling Oprah Winfrey interview to tell him, "We thought what you did was wrong." He mentioned the Van Cutsem family, some of his best old friends. You serious? And, these are people that normally he'd want to stay, but, perhaps his old friends don't really want to see him now.
It feels like it's just not his country anymore in a way.
That's the thing. It's tricky. He's taken himself away from that. And now he's a bit of a stranger when he comes. So it's an odd situation.
And picking up Richard Kay's point, why not just stay at Sandringham?
Well, he needs to be invited, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But also Sandringham now, oh dear, it's got terrible memories for him, because that's where they had the Sandringham Summit, where he talks about that at great length in his memoirs, how, that was a fait accompli. It was kind of, he felt that it was, he was told that he had to leave and quit duties and, bring back a lot of bad memories from there. So I'm not sure he'd be rushing back to Norfolk in a hurry.
Amid the royal health crisis, there was some eyebrow-raising news from Montecito when the Duke and Duchess of Sussex revealed a revamp of their website, which was seen by many here as controversial. Here, Natasha Livingston explains why, and Richard Kay and Sarah Vine give their reactions.
It's sussex.com, which is a new invention. It's the kind of relaunching of the Archewell website, which was kind of a front for their business and philanthropic aims. And part of the explanation that was given is that, firstly, their team say that Sussex is their name, so they're just using that. And secondly, Archewell was kind of too favourable to their first child, and using the Sussex name is kind of more unifying for the family. Obviously, it's put quite a few noses out of joint.
Yes, some people are saying it's a betrayal of the Queen.
Yes, well, in their deal, when they left as working royals, they said that they would not use their titles, which of course Sussex is, for any kind of business work or financial gain, and this kind of sits in an awkward position with that.
Now, Richard, obviously supporters of the Sussexes have said and might say it's their name, it's still their crest. Why shouldn't they use it?
Yeah, I get that, but I also don't quite get why they want to do this. Let's not forget that the Sussexes are the anti-royal royals. They loathe the institution, judging by everything they have said and written about them since they left Britain. And yet they can't seem to sever the bond. This link is irresistible, it seems.
Yeah.
And one doesn't have to be cynical about this, because clearly there are financial benefits from being associated with the monarchy, not being against it.
And you wrote in your column, Sarah, didn't you, that they are beyond redemption and that you'd like to see the King take a more drastic step.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to say Sussex is not their name, it's their title. Their name is Mountbatten Windsor.
Well, that's where I was confused.
So it's different. The Sussex is a title that was conferred upon them on their marriage by the late Queen. It's not their name. So that is wrong when they say that. And if it is, the only way it could be their name is if they changed it to Sussex by deed poll, which would be an extraordinary thing to do. I think we heard yesterday, didn't we, Natasha, that the children are now apparently called Sussex.
Yeah, it was a report in the Times that that's how the children, they're going about that name instead of Mountbatten Windsor, so that's what they're using.
Right.
Whether or not it's been a legal change, it's not quite clear, but yeah, they're using it.
But I think this is quite dangerous territory for them, because it is a title, and there could be implications, because it's not their name. It's just not their name. Their family name is Mountbatten Windsor.
Now, what do